to a council meeting. You're hereby summoned to attend a meeting at the Town Council to be held in the main hall, Hemsworth Town Council Community Centre, Bullenshaw Road, Hemsworth, commencing at 7 p.m. on Thursday, 16th of June 2020, for the purpose of transacting the following business. Can we all make sure we've got the phone switched off? We're just going to move down to number 1, apologies for absence, to receive apologies for absence and to consider and approve the reasons for absence. Item 2, declarations of interest. Council should disclose pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest in any items on this agenda. So, myself and Gordon, 12 and 16, Alan, and non-pecuniary. Item 3, public question time, to receive questions from members of the public. So if you just put your hand up, state your name, and then we'll deal with it. Yes.
Kathy Thornhill. First of all, I'd like to thank the staff for everything that they did regarding the Jubilee, doing the decorations, both here and at the water park, just to put that on record. My question relates to item 12, disposal of plant machinery. On the agenda, it actually says to consider offers received from buyers of the council plant machinery. At the last meeting, it wasn't actually said that you were going out to sell the machinery. You weren't actually putting it out to tender. You were actually just getting an idea of costs. So why have we moved to actually putting it out there? Because I've not seen anything to say that.
As far as I'm concerned, it were agreed to sell, and that were unanimous, I think.
So where is it being advertised then?
If you want to ask Alan, if you can just let them know how you've done it.
I've contacted, did a quick Google for a few things. Yeah, did a quick Google search for the kind of firms that would be interested in that kind of thing, because it's not a regular run-of-the-mill kind of item. The firm that does what's called a Lola inspection, that's the statutory inspections for the plant. As he was in the trade, so to speak, I asked him if he'd got any firms that would be interested. In the end, I contacted about 10 firms, some local, some interleagues as well. Spoke to them all. Thus far, 3 have replied with offers. It's up to the council tonight to accept one of those offers, or to reject them, or to request further offers, or none of the above.
Because from my point of view, I must have missed something then in that meeting, that you were actually going to look at selling them, but it wasn't happening. Because
I think it was approved, but I think we talked about it because I think Eric, you said, and I think Councillor Kennedy said about some more jobs, and then we sell it. We'd look at selling them then and just get a smaller machine. But everybody voted. I don't really want to sell them myself, but I went with the majority because
I'm just saying that I've not seen it advertised, and from my own personal point of view, that there would be probably people in the community that didn't know that they were actually up for sale and to be tendered for, etc. So
well, we are where we are now. We'll discuss it when we come to that item.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Did they actually have a... Oh, sorry.
I just said I was under the impression that we did vote to get a tender to discuss selling it. That's the way I thought it was.
Did they actually get a valuation on the machines, or is it just a figure somebody's come up with?
No, I think we got a valuation. I think valuations were sought.
I'm not going to ask you how much, because I'll just...
Well, no, I know. So yeah, they did get, as far as I'm aware, get valuations.
I've got a question for a member of the public. Can you update on the car park at Fitzwilliam?
Alan?
Yeah, funny enough, I spoke to the planning consultant a couple of weeks ago. That ball is in Wakefield County's court, and they're waiting for the approval to come through.
Any more questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, Ian McGuinness from the Highfield Estate. Any progress on any objections to the building up on that site? Has anything further been done?
The objection went in. Again, that ball was down Wakefield's court.
Yeah.
How long does the objection take for them to respond?
I don't know, so you'd have to ask Wakefield.
Can I
There's
answer
a
that
process.
question,
Yeah.
please, Chair?
Yeah, if you can.
It's
yeah.
not planning permission that's being applied for, it's actually taking the land out of
Yeah.
green to brown.
From
So
where,
how the process works is the objections will be sent to the government inspector who makes the decision, and then it goes back to Wakefield Council who then approve or disapprove it. So it's with the government.
Vicky Middleton, are you any further with the accessible play equipment? Have you got any quotes? Any plans to put accessible play equipment in the house?
That's something with the finance next week.
Yeah, it's on the finance committee meeting next week.
Thank you.
Anyone else? If not, we'll move on. Yeah, we'll move on then to item 4, recorded votes, as per minute number 262, to consider which items on the agenda should have a recorded vote. We still can say record them anyway, if somebody wants it recorded when it comes to it. But
Councillor Middleton has asked for recorded votes on items 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 16, 20, 21 and 22E.
yeah, item 5, correspondence. The town clerk to report on correspondence in respect of the following. So, email from the Head of Sacred Arts Catholic Primary School thanking the council facilitating a session with children in the council chamber. I think that went down well, didn't it, Alan? Item B, email from Rural Market Town Group inquiring whether the council will subscribe for membership. Well, we haven't got a market, so there's no point in that anyway. And I think we agreed last time when that come up.
Madam Chair, you need to ask members.
Yeah, so are we, do we all agree that we don't?
How much will it be, or is it
It's
negotiable, or?
It's a fee of £97, which obviously in the grand scheme of things isn't a huge amount, but it's membership to a rural market town body. And with the greatest respect and love to my town, it's not a rural market town, but it's up to members.
It looks a bit. Right, well, the best market's going.
It doesn't mean that if we do a Christmas event, we can't have a market. It's not like a licensed
No,
home
no,
market.
no.
All right,
We
okay,
do,
cool.
yeah, we do that
Oh,
anyway,
that's
yeah. So we're all in favour of not signing up to that. Yeah. So we'll move on to see email from Councillor Melanie Jones inquiring the support of possible pitch provision for Hemsworth Dragons ARLCFC. I think we discussed this later. It's accommodating them, Melanie. That's the problem. I would love to put it to members as well, but there's just.
Madam Chair, can I suggest you include it in item 7?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Can we include that in on the football pictures? And yeah. So we'll item 6, letter of thanks, to consider issuing a letter of thanks to a member of Hemsworth Miners Welfare FC in respect of sterling work done for the community. Well, I like all that. Yeah. Are we all in favour?
Councillor Middleton,
No.
Are you okay? Yeah.
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 Nobody's ever wanted to speak, no.
Yeah. So, item 7, football pitches, to consider a respective request from Hemsworth Town FC and Hemsworth Terriers FC regarding the future use of the football facilities at Sandygate Lane and Cemetery Road. Is there somebody here from Hemsworth Terriers, or anybody who would like to speak? Can one of you, do you want to?
Madam Chair, can I just offer the advice that notwithstanding what they're going to say now, I would advise to set up a working group to meet with the respective teams individually. Because with the greatest respect, there's more needs said in the committee said tonight, I think, isn't there? It needs fleshing out in more detail.
Yeah,
I think
well,
that's what we'll
that's
do.
what we're going to suggest actually.
Yeah.
It should be done between us because I don't even know what the request is.
Yeah, so we'll get a working party then if councillors want to put themselves forward. We know what who's going to be on that working group. So is there anybody who wants to go on the working group for yeah. So Councillor Kenyon, yeah, Councillor Middleton, Sam, Eric?
No, thanks, no.
Graham? Yeah. Councillor Ed and who's Jeff tonight? Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's
Sorry,
enjoying himself.
Oh, right, sorry.
He's in Holland.
I thought there was something wrong with him, sorry.
No,
Yes, and Councillor Westman, so that's.
I'm sorry, I should have said it when I went back.
4, 5.
Do you need a certain number? I'm happy to do it, but I don't think you need too
We
many.
can have 5 or 6, so.
I'll do it as well then.
Yeah.
What sort of time? I'm not moaning, but what sort of times will it be?
I think with the councillors that have volunteered, we'll probably have an evening meetings. But it would just, it would, we can fit it to you know, to fit around.
I'm guessing council meeting times.
Why not leave it open and advertise it for anybody to put? And then if we've got
It's a
a
working
quorum,
group for councillors,
I'm
though.
saying if we've got a quorum, we're okay.
We've got a call, people can come on. It's a working group, so the quorum is irrelevant because it can't make any decisions. It would meet their individual teams, discuss their needs, and then report back recommendations the council to consider.
I've got one other item on that, Chair. Go on, Eric.
Chair. I know I'm going over that. Could we approach some schools? I know some don't want to, adamant and all that, but could we, ask them again? You to the we're already on them.
You're already on them.
We're already
Yeah,
on
I'm
them.
going to say.
Western school,
They won't let us. We won't do them all.
that's the challenge of it.
We've got that. Western Terry's using that.
Right.
On that, Melanie, if I can just ask you a question. One of the problems of the last few years have been when Outwood Academy took over from Wakefield, running at high school. And that's where the main problem's been with Terry's providing football fields, because Outwood Academy charged these extortionate rates. Am I right, Dale?
Yeah.
From what Wakefield Council used to charge them. So could you look at having a look at that, because realistically Wakefield Council are responsible for providing clean pitches and have been for the last 50, 60 years in Hemsworth.
You'll be well aware that academisation is a government scheme, and that is a fact. With regards to anything to do with the academy, they are setting up a licensing board, because I've tried to get Hemsworth Dragons on there. So no, I can't, because it's an academy.
So there's no way
I can't influence their prices.
Because last year we went on and we marked our pitches out because they've got nobody at the place. We put all the goalposts up, marked our pitches out to help them out, so that.
That's a conversation that maybe you need to have
ready.
with Outwood Academy.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see if we can do that then, Jean, to get the Dragons somewhere to play.
Yeah.
Under high school, the last season we had there about 13, 14, about 345, 13 per season. I don't know what it is now. What is it now? Do you know? For the rugby team. For what? For an adult team. On pitches. Yeah, pitch for a season. £45, it could be all up to like £100 a game.
We're charging them per game, Eddie.
Ridiculous.
It's done through a letting company now. So they lease it out for the school. And we have contacted the school. We've always been in contact with the school on it all, because we wanted to deal direct with them. But they're adamant they want this company in. The last company they had went bust. We had to buy his own golf posts as well. Yeah, we own our golf posts on it. Yeah. We bought them off them as well, you know what I mean? They lease them back to us.
Yeah, so
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
we'll move them then, and we'll do that work.
Do they charge for football or not?
Yeah. Everything.
ring about Hemsworth Dragons?
Yeah.
Okay. So Hemsworth Dragons were on the rugby union pitch and they've come back with charging them £6,000 per quarter. There are 135 children playing on that pitch. Now, we have got a pitch in Kinsley, but it's just not ready for them. And my proposal was, when I was a town councillor, we commissioned a Sports England study into sports provision in Hemsworth, and it said that the provision for football was excellent, but there was no provision for family-based activities and rugby. So my thoughts were, is there any way that you could negotiate even just a period of time for these kids, either on Sandygate or on Cemetery Road at all? Just temporarily.
You won't be able to because it's overused, it's used 3 times, 4 times a week now, plus training. So, what, you know, we won't be able to do it Saturday, Sunday, or even training.
I
What
don't
is
know
Melanie?
what you think, I don't think we can accommodate, that's what.
There's 55 teams using 5 pitches and 3 of them are junior pitches. So the only 2 pitches really we can play open age rugby or under 18s is the 2 main fields, and they'll have to alter goalposts and mark all field out. So it's an absolute nightmare.
As Alan's just said, the working group, we can get involved in that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I can get you a contact for school director and they'll get you on.
Right. So we'll,
Jean, just one more point. We did contact Sacred Heart School, Melanie, and they were, you know, said there's no problem. We'd allow terriers to use that. But you've not taken that option up because it's loads of it. But that might be an idea for them. The only thing is, there's no changing rooms. We are to use one of the classrooms at school, but we'll have to liaise with caretaker then.
so we'll obviously the working group, and then they can come back to us and then, you know, see what we can do. So we'll move to item 8, seaside trips, summer 2022, to confirm the details for the provision of coaches for the seaside trips. So yeah, we can get it on the website tomorrow. But we're going to play this because I think we have got to scrutinise it because we're not going to know who's who. I think they need to prove their address and the family, you know, and it just be a little bit more work, but that'll mean that we can accommodate the people that live in this area because that's what it's for. Are we all in agreement with that for proof, proof of address? Yeah.
Could I, well, I agree with what, you know, what you said there, could I also possibly suggest it's like almost like a raffle? So you come down a council, a ballot, so you get a number, and you say, I've got Mrs. Smith, and Kinsley, and me and 2 kids. So that was like 1 times 4, and then you can do it on Facebook Live, so be on the phone with an automatic number generator. Number 1 goes on there, number 2 goes on that trip.
I think your only problem with that is you're going to have families, so you might have a family of 2 and a family of 4, and how are you going to work out if that's the only problem? And I think it's a good idea to do it random. I think my personal worry would be if you put it on Facebook tomorrow, come and get your tickets. Families that are working are going to be missing out on that, and I think it should be for everybody because I think everybody is struggling at the minute. Maxine, have you any thoughts on it?
Why not first come first serve? That's
Yeah, I was thinking about we should food banks first to see what people who are struggling who can't afford to go anywhere.
Yeah, I think that's right, but first come first serve does still have that problem that things are going out there working.
We knew this when we decided to have it, and I'm in agreement with it. Don't get me wrong.
And they up for
we
it.
are going to get problems whichever way you look at it.
Food banks first, but then.
So, Alan, what were you going to say?
So how many tickets for the food bank then? Assuming members want to put some to one side.
How can you do
Are we
that?
having one bus for Fitzwilliam and one for Hemsworth, or if it's going to make Kingston one for Hemsworth?
I suggest one for Hemsworth and one for Fitzwilliam.
Yeah, that's how I thought.
And we're doing 2 days, aren't we?
Yeah, eh?
There's two days.
Two buses, 2 days.
2 days. So obviously we could go through. We could go through food banks and that first. Let them go on first trips.
There's another thing as well. They have to be accompanied, don't they? It's families, unless, well, it's families, isn't it?
Yeah,
This is
it's
what we
a
said.
family trip,
Oh, yeah, you've got to have adults with them, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
Well, if the bus is full, then why not put another bus on?
is there any more buses, Alan?
There's other companies, isn't there?
Do a different date, the council won't.
Can you try them, and then let's try and, for sake of, is it, $500 per bus? Yeah. So if we can get another 2 buses, then 3 buses one, 3 buses, on the next day. And get back to us as soon as you can with that, Alan.
Should we say like 70% of tickets then get allocated to food banks, those people that they know are struggling, and then keep 30% back for people who feel like, they want to go on that trip? Because there's going to be people that are struggling, but they're not going to food banks.
No, this is,
the
this is
side
not
and
the
stuff.
hard that bit, because a lot of people who are working and that can't afford to play.
70% the Kindle food bank and 7% for
No,
health food bank.
70% between the 2 food banks, because you can have so many percentages then.
Yeah.
That's a good percentage.
140% in it.
On the buses, yeah. Right, so, is there anything else then? So, proof of address, it's going on the website tomorrow. Yeah, just a minute. Proof of address, it's going on the website, and obviously, accompanied by.
Ballots or first come, first served.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah,
once we've
well,
done the food banks, I
first
think
come,
we've
first
got
served.
to, yeah, we've just increased it another bus as well on each.
So the 70% of the food bank is first come, first served.
Yeah, for,
And the
that's
30%
split between
that's like
2.
everybody else is a ballot.
No,
No, it's just first
No
come,
ballot, all
first
first come,
served.
first
But
served.
I think we let the ladies who run the food bank, they will tell us who they think are the
Yeah,
tickets.
yeah.
Because you're looking at 70 people, aren't you? So I think it should be alright. No, it's 40 people, isn't it? How many on each
Well,
bus?
it's going to be 3, but this is normally 64, is it, on a bus?
So
So
it's a
if
good
there's only
number,
3,
isn't it?
yeah.
It is big for anyone to say, but that's it, so they'll see
It's
so they're
50,
right in line.
it's 52 on the
Oh,
bus.
yeah, we have to, yeah.
Yeah.
And there'll be a disabled access for them, won't be,
Yes,
on the bus as
yeah.
well, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
only 52 on a bus.
I thought it was 64, but
It
yes.
depends now.
To accommodate people who
Just spend money.
work, who are struggling, the tickets, could you not, like Scott has some late evening, could you not make them tickets available at that time? So people who do work, who are struggling, and don't go to food banks, have got a fair bash to come after work, to get a ticket for their family.
Read the ticket, anytime.
Yeah, we could say to ring for them, but we could.
Right, I think Alan's just made a good point. They can ring for tickets
Yeah.
anytime, and then they can put the name down,
Yeah,
and then
that works.
we can reserve the tickets. So that sorts that out. Thanks for that, Alan. Yeah, so we're going to move to item 9, fun fair, to consider revised request to have a fun fair in Hemsworth Water Park from 7th to 21st of August, and then in June.
17.
June 24th to 26th, and 17th to 21st of August.
Oh, a lot late request, weren't there?
The only thing I think with that is the,
It's the usual location for the fun fair will be that top field, which we need for the overflow car park. So if the council approves it, it really, I'll advise it not be there, it need to be further across. Or if you do decide to put it in the overflow car park, be prepared for traffic.
well, why not, well, I'm just speaking out aloud, you know, on the other side where the second lane is quite big there, could it not go there? You can't get down. Right, so we have to make a decision. I mean, it's going to be busy, isn't it? So we really do need the space for car parks. I think on this one we're going to have to decline. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we're not going to be able to do it.
People back up on Bonfire Island.
It's too
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah. So no, Alan, sorry for that. Just let him know. Item 10, defibrillator Kinsley to town clerk to report accordingly.
Yes, Madam Chair, the Kingsley and Fixley Resource Centre has confirmed that they would be happy to have a defibrillator placed on their premises, but it wouldn't be 24-hour access though, which is still fine because defibs are registered with a national organisation called the Circuit, and when they're registered, you can designate the times. So if the council did approve to have one at the centre, and the times were designated with the circuit, if somebody needed it on a weekend at 2 in the morning and called 999, they wouldn't be directed to it. So the non-24-hour access thing isn't great, but it's not end of the world stuff either. I've also written to the shop at the end of Tonbridge, but they've yet to get back to me. So the options are to wait for the shop or to go ahead with the resource centre in the knowledge that it's not 24-hour access.
Is there a defibrillator in Fitzwilliam? There is.
And Kingsley. There was one at Kingsley as well.
Well,
Yeah, I'm just saying, because if they have, then there's one at the water park, but I'm in favour of that. Are we all in favour?
Waiting.
So sparks and spiders.
Is it news and bills that you've got?
Yes.
It has to be 24 hours.
Yeah, can't hold off, can you, if you're having a heart attack?
No.
I think we wait. Can we phone them? Yeah, phone them.
We'll wait and,
You can have them 24
all
hours.
this time, haven't we, so we can wait a bit longer.
They put washing machines outside that shop, so I'm quite sure.
I don't think
they'll
they'll have a problem with that.
no.
What, down there?
well, that's why I asked for it to be put there.
Only other option is Legion, but they close the gate.
Melody?
I don't know.
There was an offer from Kingsley Coronation, and I'm aware that that's open quite,
It's too close to water park, there's nothing in between.
but it's as close as News and Booze, and being a qualified nurse, the ringing the 999 and waiting for that to open could potentially cost somebody their life.
That's why we're saying we wouldn't do it there.
Sorry, I can't hear.
We wouldn't put it where it
You've
belongs.
got a
that's
mic
what we're
there,
saying.
Donna, we've sorted these mics so you can...
Yeah, we said we wouldn't.
No, it's...
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We won't put it at the community centre because it's locked, so we want it further in the middle of the village. I know Coronation Club is, but it kind of isn't. It's not on main road. If you run it, I think it needs to be on that main road, definitely.
Yeah, it needs to be outside.
But I'm sure if we ring News and Blues, we'll give you a number for Gaffer, won't we?
Well, I think, can you contact them and then we'll just defer that then to the next
It
meeting.
doesn't have to be locked up, that's what we're saying.
We don't have to
We
lock
don't
them.
want it
Can you
locking
just
up.
come to a chair and we'll
Sorry.
So, we're gonna defer it and then let it come back when you've spoke to, is it Kevin at News and Blues? Yeah.
Has anybody approached the doctors in Kingsley? Put it outside the doctors, everybody knows where the doctors is.
Never thought
There's a
of that.
chemist next to them.
No, they aren't. You can have it on the, no, because you can get down side the chemist.
Yeah, that's right.
You can get down the side of the chemist and the doctors.
I've been told gates locked on the night.
Are they? Well, the chemist then. It's on the main road.
And there isn't a gate
That's
on
access.
it.
There's no
Now,
gate.
let's just see what News and Blues come up with then, and then if that fails, we can always, outside chemist down. Yeah.
Have you talked about that fusion that's bang on the
I think we're gonna settle for
Put it on my
News
watch.
and Blues, failing that, the chemist, yeah? Are we all in favour? Yeah. Item 11, committee meetings, live streaming, to consider live streaming committee meetings, this is what I put this on. I think, I will mention before, so, we've got the facility to do it now, so, I mean, if we're all in favour of that,
I'll just say that all committee meetings other than sub-finance maybe.
all committee meetings, it won't be sub-finance,
No,
because
that's
that's
all but.
exclusion into,
Can we, can we just, sorry Chair, can we just ask for some feedback on how it's gone tonight? Because I'm assuming these are connected to that. We're all linked to it, just how the volume is on the Zoom meeting.
I assume it's okay, but I don't answer the
Yeah,
question.
we could just ask for some feedback from people that were on the
I'm
Zoom.
going to ask for
I
some
don't know how to do
feedback
that.
now with
I
Lyn,
don't know how to
because
do that.
Lyn will put us in the picture, but we have got these now, Lyn, so I don't
Yeah.
know if that's going to...
I've only had one complaint about the sound, but obviously I'm on a different sound system to you. My sound, and that was something I was going to say, it is a general complaint I get over and over again. People join the Zoom, get fed up with the sound quality, and come and listen to the live stream instead because the sound quality is better. Now, part of that is the microphones that you've now got, so if you're using the microphones, that does help.
Yeah.
But you need a better sound unit than the one you've got, because the one on that camera just isn't good enough.
Well,
You
we're
need-
trying, and we've got
Yeah.
things now, Lynn, so let's see how it goes.
The other thing,
and live stream every meeting.
yeah,
Sorry, I'm just thinking, we're on Zoom right now. Alan, is there any comments? So people on Zoom, can you tell us if you can hear us?
I don't know. I'm not a Zoom person, sorry. Oh, shameful, it says sound quality is good.
Ah,
There you go.
very
Thank
good.
you.
I think we've just heard it there, so, yeah. Thanks for that, Shane. So we're going to move on to item 12, plant machinery disposal, to consider offers received from respective.
Item 11. Zoom won't be up next week, to be after that though, because the thing's going to
Yeah,
yeah,
it'll start.
week after next.
Yeah, week after next. Item 12, plant machinery disposal, to consider offers received prospective buyers for the council's plant machinery. Alan, I'll leave that to you.
Yeah, Madam Chair, 3 offers have been received. Members have seen all the details. I recommend going with the highest individual offers for each item of plant. Yeah.
Are we all in favour of that?
Yeah.
Go on, Donna.
Wasn't there not an interest raised against this one though?
Yeah.
Are you?
Non-pecuniary.
Okay.
Yeah. Are we all in favour of that?
It just feels low, I feel low amounts.
Well, it's like, sorry, can I just say, can I come in, please?
Just a minute.
I just feel low, and I don't know if we should go to get them valued, but if getting them valued is going to cost us £3 or whatever, then
I could put an advert out, Madam Chair.
what's it valued at?
Well, value was about 3 or 4 months ago. In regions of what, in fact, was slightly less than what we were offering.
Can we see these valuations then, please?
I think you did send them.
Chippendales
Alan,
came
can you
out.
confirm that they offered
Can I see
less
the valuation?
than they offered less than what you've got
Well,
there?
I've seen it out there.
No, I know.
I've seen offers, I've not seen valuations.
Came out.
It could be emailed. Right, let's all speak at once then. Alan?
What he's talking about is one of the firms that have now submitted an offer. They came out a few months ago and gave a valuation. And it's actually, that valuation is lower than what they've submitted now.
See, from my point of view, as I brought it up, you haven't actually you haven't advertised it. You haven't advertised it so that people in the industry know that you're actually selling them. That isn't what was clear at the last meeting. It was that you were going to get a valuation.
No, I have to stop you there because I'm going to ask Alan. They voted to sell. Now, we've got the vote. Alan's done what he's been told to do. He had value what were the company that?
Can I suggest from this? I'll put an advert out tomorrow morning. He was agreed to sell, that's definite. I remember that being said, without question. I can put an advert out tomorrow morning. The next council meeting is only 4 weeks away. Come back to it then. Any further offers can be considered then.
I think that sounds just.
And I'm not being funny, Chair, but you've actually said that you've got an interest in this.
It's a non-pecuniary interest. I know what I'm doing, and I'm okay to discuss if I want to.
You see, I thought that if you got an interest in it, you were supposed to leave the room.
No, only a pecuniary interest. But I'm happy to go with what Lyn Morotn has just said to get some more quotes.
No bids. I think we've been trying to get rid of this equipment for a long time now. Yep. Sorry, I keep knocking it over so I turn it on. We're trying to get rid of equipment for a long time. We're paying insurance on it. We've got no one to use it. We'll move on into another meeting, I suppose.
Excuse me, we have got drivers that can drive all that machinery.
We don't need it, do we?
No, it's done its job. It's been on allotments over 100 times.
Okay, right.
So I'm saying, when it came up to sell it, I've not got a problem. And like Sean said, we need to downscale probably with a smaller unit than that 12 ton. It's done its job, I get that. And if we can get money back from it, and then when we do need things, yeah, rent it in.
Yeah, agree.
I've not
So
got a
what
problem with that.
I'm trying to say is, I've certainly been pushing for it. I don't think we need it. I get what you're saying. I understand that, we should get an evaluation. Evaluation will cost us, so that's adding more onto what we've got. While we're still paying, it's there. Anything could happen. Health and safety issues, whatever. We need to get rid of it, but we need the highest bid. So 4 weeks gives us that time. It's only worth what someone's going to pay for it. And if we've gone out to 3 different companies that have come back with very, very similar bids, then to me that's
I'm
similar to what
just saying that
it's worth.
it's not, the public...
Can you just come through, Chair, please?
Sorry.
You've had, So, right, so we're going to go with...
That's my
for the
proposal.
next-
Well, I think it was his proposal. Let's 4 weeks.
But I'm not being funny, but the next one will be concluded. If it goes out again.
No, I agree.
We said he's done what he's been asked to do. And he's done his best with that. So another month, and then we make the decision. Yeah.
Chair,
Right, so...
can I ask a question on it? Why don't you try through public auction with a reserve, and then nobody can argue over it?
You've got to pay.
Well, through public auction?
Yeah, you have to pay a commission.
Yeah, you sell it. You've got to sell it, and they get commission off.
But if it's beating the highest bid, what difference does it make?
But it might not.
If it does, then it don't sell. You go back to highest bidder.
You've got to pay to enter it though.
Of course you have, yeah.
You don't?
You do.
You do.
The one at Nottingley.
You do.
The one
No.
at Nottingley.
What's an associate
Excuse
at
me,
Barnsley?
we're not going to get into an argument about it.
No.
We've just made a decision
No.
for it to come back to council, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to move on to item 13, Hemsworth Water Park,
Sorry,
path
Chair.
resurfacing.
Shall we just vote so it can be recorded so it can be voted and it's down as
Yeah,
recorded?
all right then. So we're all in favour of that. Yeah. Yeah. So item 13, Hemsworth Water Park path resurfacing. To consider resurfacing the paths in Hemsworth Water Park. Alan, you've got some quotes.
Yeah, well, I got one quote just to give members an idea of what the cost would be, and it's £45,000. If the council wants to pursue it, you have to go to consultation, and then come back to council after the consultation, and if the council still wants to pursue it, it will have to go to tender.
Yeah.
We talked about this like a few years ago now, and we talked about using this plant machinery and the lads that were there at the time doing it themselves. Because of them quotes like that, they're far too steep. Is that still feasible or? I mean, if you're going to tarmac, it's what are you looking at? Is it £140 a ton tarmac? Is it? Something like that.
If you did it in-house, we'll be able to do it a lot cheaper.
Oh yeah.
But it's, I don't think at this moment in time we've got anybody that can do that because we're a ground maintenance station.
Sean.
I was just going to say, where we work, not similar to what you were saying about not staff to do it nowadays. Not only that, like you said, we've got a digger and we've got a big roll that's too big for all them parts, so we've not got machinery to do tarmac.
That roll is ideal for that.
That roll is too big.
It isn't.
No, it's not. It does football fields, John. That roll is ideal. That roll is not for sale because they said it's good for pictures. But that's the hardcore that was put down, roll planings, all put down ready to tarmac on it, but it never got tarmac because the price we had last time was 40,000. And we didn't want to spend that, that on it. We thought we've got at that time more important things to spend on it. And with the coronavirus pandemic, we tightened as well, didn't we?
Yeah. Right, I'm gonna take yours, and then I'll take yours, and then that's it from public because it's a council meeting and we've got to move progress on it. So, yes, Lou.
Yeah, I just want to say, is it on?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I went to Jubilee celebrations down there and I fell. I had to at first aid. My knee's still 2 weeks after. It cost me knee.
And your first aider said amount of people that had fell that day were horrendous.
This is why we want the paths
Well,
doing.
it was because I went flying.
Yeah, this is why this is
Mine is
on the
a
agenda.
right mess.
Well, you go.
Just
And
a
it'll
minute.
cost, no,
No,
and it'll cost more than £40,000 if somebody sues you.
it's 45. Sorry, can you say that again?
I says it'll cost more than £40,000 if somebody sues you because you are aware of that path being bad.
It's £45,000 and we have.
Well, it'll cost you a lot more than that if somebody sues you.
We have put road planings down and we've tried, but this is what. Before it didn't even have that, there was just lethal steps where people, at one time, wheelchairs did get up it, but as it's gone, as the road planing's been used, it's gone to the side. That's what happens with it. But you're right. You're 100%
I mean, you
right.
imagine you falling. You know, it hurts.
You're absolutely right, and I think that's why this has got to happen.
No, it's got to be done because you're going to end up in trouble because you are aware of it.
Right. Yes.
Well,
My
you've
name's
got to put a
Mr.
claim
Ray.
in.
At last
Put a
meeting we
claim
spoke
in.
about
We get
water
that
park
fees.
being neglected over years. And you all agreed, so just get it done then. Bring it forward.
Yeah.
Bring it into
Well,
millennium, we're here. You
because
can't go on from years and years
That's
ago.
from 2 weeks ago.
Last meeting we discussed this, about the
Yeah.
water park being neglected. So,
Yeah.
get it done.
Obviously, it's a certain amount, so it's got to go out. Can everybody come through chair, or just no point? Right, it has to go to consultation. This is what we agreed at a figure. I think it is an emergency.
Well,
as
Mike, do you want to look at Mike? This is 2 weeks ago, this. It's been a
It is an
right
emergency
mess.
that I've just said.
Well, it's every meeting it gets mentioned though, don't it?
Yeah, well, for me, I've just said, we'll have to discuss it, we've got reserves, and it is important, but we voted for consultation over a certain amount. This is what happens now, we've got to have how long consultation?
So does this not come as essential maintenance though?
Could I just propose that we go and get some quotes, and while we're getting the quotes, it goes out to tender? And then it's not taking no consultation, and it's taking no more time.
How long does the consultation last, Alan?
As long as you want, it can be a week, it can be a year, but I'd recommend at least a fortnight.
2 week consultation.
So that's what we'll do then.
We have to do
Are
it.
we all in
And in the
favour?
process,
I've got to attend at the same time.
get some tenders
Are
at the
we
same
all in
time.
favour? Well, he's got a quote.
That's one quote. Just
We have
about
I'll
that
put out to tender as well.
Yeah.
And if in the
That's the law.
meantime, we have to wait though, don't we, 2 weeks?
Just a minute, Alan, so did you not, so have you just specifically run one firm and they've said that?
I've got a quote to establish how much it would cost, because I've got no idea how much tarmac in a path would cost. And the purpose of that is to get a ballpark figure, because if it's below £25,000, you can accept the quote now. Above £25,000, you have to go out to tender. So, I mean, if you got a tender, that firm may well then resubmit that tender, that's up to him or her.
Yeah.
So it must go out to tender. It can go out parallel to a consultation as well, but it must go out to tender.
Yeah, so we've agreed then, we're going to get the out to tender, and meantime we can have a consultation. But sooner rather than later, I think it's really urgent.
Yeah.
It has been a long
We
time.
had a quote 19, 20 months ago from South Yorkshire Tarmac, £40,000. That was for all paths. Did you fall down in car park or did you fall down?
I wrote it when I wrote.
On the path that runs round Lakes,
yeah.
And that was 40,000 because we were, we were aware that they were dilapidated, but because of pandemic and coronavirus, put it on hold, we didn't know we were still behind.
But that medical team were brilliant.
Yeah.
They were brilliant, I will say that. But she said the amount of people that had fell that day. So she felt accident thing in that.
Yeah,
one.
yeah. All right, then I think that's it, yeah.
Would it both pay?
That'd be worse. That'd be worse. It'd be worse. Right, I'm going to take last one. Just a minute. I'm just going to get last one from Lyn.
I'm really sorry about this. It's slightly off topic, but a member of the public's just asking about the car park because wasn't there a promise that was going to be done by Yorkshire Water when they left site?
Repair what they dug up, that was it.
They
Oh,
only
right,
repaired
okay.
what they dug up, yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Said you're
Thanks. Just wanted
contacting
to.
Wakefield Council to stay on it.
Yeah.
For that, have you?
Yeah. Yeah.
They
It's
came
written
back,
to
they
them.
came back and said, do you want to be potholes or resurface? I'd
In
resurface.
fact, Melon is.
I'm not aware of this. nobody's made me aware, so.
Yeah, well,
If you've copied me into the email, I might be aware of it, but clearly I've not been copied in, so.
yeah, can you send,
And there are 3 of us, 3
it was
district
obviously
councillors.
the meeting between ourselves that you know, this is what I wanted to discuss a few things, but you'll know about it anyway. So, right, we're gonna move on then, to item 14, subject access requests. The town clerk to report on 2 anonymised subject access requests and to authorise the respective responses accordingly.
Yeah, Madam Chair, it just needs approval. I can't tell what the details, but
Yeah,
needs approval.
no, I think we have to, you know, we have to do it anyway. It's part of the course, isn't it? So, yeah, are we all in favour for that?
Yeah.
So then we move to 15, same again, freedom of information request. The town clerk to report on anonymised freedom of information requests received to authorise the respective responses accordingly. Are we all in favour of that? Yeah. Item 6, internal controls and internal audit to receive the
Efficacy.
yeah, I'm really stuck on that one. Of the system internal controls to receive the internal auditor's report for the year ended 31st of March 2022 and to appoint an internal auditor and confirm the scope of internal audit for 2022 to 23. So, has there been,
The report was circulated, Madam
yeah,
Chair.
has there been any?
Maybe some minor bookkeeping issues, but nothing fundamental.
Right.
Can I just ask, is there a cut-off date on these ones? Sorry. Is there a cut-off date on when these need to be signed off?
On this one, 2 parts of it. To receive the report has to be done tonight, but you can defer the appointing the auditor.
Okay. Well, why not just use the same what we've been using?
Council manager.
Well, what's the problem? I mean, how long have we had this one?
But we're in the middle of a forensic audit, aren't we? Is my concern. Do we need to ensure that the forensic auditor agrees with that audit? And if they do, then we'll go with it. But let's just make sure there's no inaccuracies in it first. We're going to defer that bit.
Yeah, we'll defer it
But
to
we don't need
next.
to do it.
Yes, sir. The report is accepted, but then defer the appointment.
And the appointment doesn't need to be done until
Yeah.
presumably next time. Anyway.
No, we have a mid-year audit. We have to be done sort of like later this summer.
Okay.
Yeah, so
The
we're
report
all
is accepted, yeah, and then.
yeah, we're all agreed to that. Yeah, are we all in favour? Yeah. Yeah. So we'll move on to item 17, annual governance statement 2021 to 22. To consider and approve the annual governance statement for the year ended 31st of March 2022.
That's been circulated, Madam Chair. It's
Yeah.
needs approval and published next week.
Yeah, are we all in favour?
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on again to 18, annual accounting statements 2021 to 22. To consider and approve the annual accounting statements for the year ended 31st of March 2022. Yeah.
Same with you, Madam Chair. It's been circulated and published next week.
Are these time bound? Are these time bound?
Yes.
So we won't get the forensic report back before this?
No.
So publish them.
But you can always go back and pick things out.
I don't know, I mean, that's,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
just joking. Yeah, are we all in favour then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All in favour.
Yeah. So is anybody against, because nobody's putting their hands up.
Sorry, yeah.
I am in favour, are we all in favour? I think we need to start showing, you want recorded votes, let's put his hands up, otherwise we'll take it as a abstain. I'll give the public good evening, because we're on to exclusion of press and public. This door, yeah, we're going to use this door today. Excuse me, can you just, yeah, can you just see him, please? So for this door, you know, it's exclusion now, so. No, I'll go that way until we stop.